we are back here in Tokyo. Today we're gonna be trying some popular Japanese food from some more popular Japanese anime.
Should be fun.
We're gonna be rating them on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being may make your tongue and your entire body age by about 50 years. And 10 being someone might think you're pregnant with food babies.
Can I have another bowl, please?
Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So let's go. We got some soba here from my favorite anime, My Hero Academia.
I found out today that Shoto likes soba.
This is interesting to me because it's cold. And in the show, he says specifically cold soba. We have the noodles, but then we also have some fresh wasabi and onion. And we're supposed to dip the noodles
into the broth.
Wait, this is a broth?
It's like a soy broth, yeah.
Oh.
I remember the first time I ever made you a soba salad and you just hated it.
Why you gotta bring up negative energy?
I was so depressed, guys. It was the saddest moment of my life. I made something for her and she basically threw it back in my face.
Okay, I'm gonna put a little wasabi in mine. Soba is prepared using thin buckwheat noodles and can be served hot or cold. It's a great option for the summertime because it's very light and super refreshing. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. That's actually really good. Okay, I can get with this.
Go time! Hop in my stomach! Wait, what?
If you could have any quirk on My Hero Academia, which one would it be? Pick one for the superhero world and one for this world, like a practical quirk.
Mirio's power in real life would actually be really useful in certain situations.
Yeah.
But also, if you haven't mastered it, it would be totally useless.
Yeah.
Also, you would have to, the real world would suck too because you wouldn't have somebody that can make the clothing to actually work. So you would just have to be nude everywhere. That doesn't work. In their world, I would say all for one. And it could be considered kind of evil, don't get me wrong. But if you do what he did and actually do it for good, like if somebody has a useless quirk or a quirk that they really don't like and you help them get rid of it, you could start a business of helping people cure their unwanted quirks. And it would be totally legal, hopefully. And then
I don't know, something about it just sounds sleazy.
The funniest thing about it is if he hadn't been a bad, selfish person, there was nothing wrong with what he did. Because in that one situation, this guy's getting beat up every day on his way home from work. This guy has a quirk that he doesn't want. You just take the quirk from that guy, give it to this other person, and now both of these people are extremely happy and you make friends for life. Like, that's a great way to live. The problem is he was using that so that he could bank favors for these people.
True.
And that's not okay. But in real life, I would probably take one that could be really useful is Shinso's power, because you could just make people do whatever you want.
True.
And nobody would have any idea how you were doing it.
That would kind of be evil.
No, you just do simple things like, hey, do you mind buying this for me? And they say yes. And they said yes to buying something for you.
That feels so wrong.
But then if they say no, they have to do it anyway. It's not as bad as you're making it seem.
If I were to pick a quirk, I would actually pick hawks. Like, you would just send your feathers out to do whatever.
I think I would take hawks too.
Dude, no.
Well, look,
no.
You can fly, you have super speed. Thank you for
Don't copy me.
Thank you for giving
Do
me
not
that
know.
idea. I will give
can't
you
copy
100% credit for this, but I will also pick hawks.
But if I were a superhero, I would pick Amajiki because I feel like there's so many creative ways that you can use his quirk.
Well, especially since he can also use inorganic stuff, which I didn't realize.
There's so many possibilities. Like, you could eat shark, have like super strong
No,
teeth.
you shouldn't eat shark. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for the environment.
Well, if it weren't bad for the environment.
Why would you want that?
You never know when a villain run up on you and you gotta go, ah.
You're not allowed to kill the villains.
You won't kill them. You could just bite their arm off. It sounds pretty useful to me.
Like, you are one to become a villain.
I was just cruel. The guy's a dirtbag loser! Don't let him get to you!
What is Bakugo's hero name?
Oh, it's too long.
I will give you a hint.
Okay.
It's 5 words. If you can get 4 of them, I will give this one to you.
Well, I know the ending is Lord Explosion Murder. This is such a dumb question. It's not even a good name. It's like it's like God Explosion Murder.
You got another one. You don't have it in order, but you do have
Explosion Murder. Is it like the God of Explosion Murder? The Death God of Explosion Murder. What is his name? It's something so ridiculous.
It's so long.
It's Explosion Murder God. Are you sure it's not Explosion Murder God Lord?
It does have Explosion Murder God. There's something in the beginning and then there's something at the end.
All right, I'm gonna guess one more time, and if this isn't it, you can just tell me.
Okay.
Ultimate Explosion Murder God King.
Nope.
Dang, what is it?
It's Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite.
Dynamite. It's so stupid. It's so bad.
Child, so long.
Big yikes.
How crude. Lame.
That's an awesome hero name.
So what would you rate this?
Oh, I would say this is like a solid 8 out of 10, maybe.
Okay. I think I'm gonna give this a 7.5. That smells so good. This looks exactly like his dish. It has the bamboo shoots, the Naruto, green onions, and char-siu.
Listen here, man. Extra large pork miso with extra pork on the double.
That is so good. Oh, I really like that. Okay, even without the noodles. Okay, I should probably try the noodles now. Not super heavy. That's amazing.
You got anything to say to me?
I vow to win!
What is your favorite Naruto fight?
Naruto fight, I would probably say Shikamaru versus Hidan. Shikamaru is my favorite character, but that fight is actually really good. The fact that he actually had a
It's very
strategy from the
strategic,
beginning.
yeah.
Exactly. You have an immortal enemy, how you stop him? You kind of can't. You just have to separate his head and keep it at the bottom of the pit.
Yeah, I have to admit, that was a really good fight. My favorite fight is probably Obito versus Kakashi. That fight, it was so well animated. Kakashi was always better than him. There's a moment I remember in the fight where they're going back and forth. It's his childhood self, his adult self, and they're kind of equally matched. In his past self, Kakashi, helps him up. And in that moment when they're about to show that, his present self, pushes him back. And I'm like, oh my gosh. That was such a...
It's a really cool shot.
It's a really good fight. Definitely one of my favorites out of all of anime.
Well, at least we get to say goodbye as friends, not enemies.
If you could bring back one Naruto character, who would it be?
Jiraiya. He died thinking that he had completely failed. He died thinking that the one child that he raised to be the child of prophecy was the child that was going to bring about the world's destruction.
Yeah.
He believed in Naruto, but he never got to see Naruto reach his true heights.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Naruto's dad got to see it, Naruto's mom got to see it, but Jiraiya never got to see that. So I would want to bring him back, even if just for a day, so that he could see that the work that he put in and the person he believed in actually did change the world.
Yeah. Okay, this is a tough one for me though, because I definitely agree with you, because I love Jiraiya. That's one of my favorite characters in Naruto. Actually, the person I would not mind seeing come back is probably Minato.
That's basic. Minato lived his life.
Not really.
Yes.
He died very young.
He did, but he also had accomplished many things. I don't know. I feel like Minato's better off dead.
Jeez.
Not.
No.
Okay.
You were being really funny, and then you went too far.
Okay. But for the purpose of the story, it's better for him to remain gone.
Yes, for the purpose of the story, I will say it makes sense for him to have died. However, I would just like to explore more of his story and who he is as a shinobi. We got to see glimpses of who he was and kind of how he interacted with Naruto, but I would want to see more of that. There aren't too many deaths that I've cried over, and his death was one of the hardest for me. It crushed me.
But he wasn't even actually dying. He was just going back.
Yeah, but it was like he was dying. And I was like, especially when Naruto gave his whole speech, tell my mom I'm watching behind my ears. I'm like, make sure you tell her.
Tell her not to worry. I'm eating properly. Lots of different stuff. I'm not picky.
This one might be easy, is what you're about to say?
This one might be a little easy for you.
Okay.
Okay, who gave Yamato his wood style?
Oh, yeah, that's Orochimaru. Yeah, easy. But I've watched Naruto 3-4 times.
Smells delicious. It must be ramen. Seems they didn't order pot stickers though.
Oh, let's go ahead and rate this lovely dish.
Oh,
What would
yes.
you give it?
I would give this like a 9 out of 10. It's got good ramen.
I was actually gonna say 9 out of 10 too. I think it was really good. Actually, this might be some of the best ramen I've had. Yeah, so.
I would agree.
So yeah, check this place out. Okay, so this is takoyaki. This dish is in a couple different animes, but I picked this anime specifically because it's just such a good anime. It's definitely one of my favorites.
So please, help yourself to some of this delicious takoyaki. I insist.
Let's go ahead and dig in. Takoyaki are wheat balls filled with pieces of octopus, tempura, pickled ginger, and green onions, and topped with a special takoyaki sauce and Japanese mayo. Creamy on the inside, creamy on the outside too. Ain't not bad. I'm pretty good. So many different flavors that's going on kind of in your mouth. There's a little bit of sweet, a little bit of savory, like everything's kind of happening all at once. You get a little bit of that umami in there.
Brace yourselves for a flight through the stratosphere at supersonic speed.
If you could fly at Mach 20, what food would you pick up?
Oh, that's the only good thing I get to do with Mach 20?
Yep.
Wow. If I could go to Mach 20 right now, I might go get some insomnia cookies. I feel like
we haven't had
it's
that in
been
forever.
so long since we've had insomnia cookies.
Yeah, that actually sounds good. The thing is, we've had so much good food, so it's hard to just pick one place. Maybe India.
Really?
Maybe get some Indian food, yeah.
You're looking at a being so powerful he can obliterate over half the moon in seconds.
Do you think there's any way that Kuro-sensei could have lived?
No.
Why?
I think that for the sake of the story wrapping up properly, he had to die. He did not have any purpose to continue living, but more importantly, he had gone through the entire year as this monster to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing, nobody else knows.
Nobody
like,
knows
what
anything
he's been
about
to
him.
these kids.
Yeah. And so for the rest of the world, it doesn't matter how much these kids plead and cry Stockholm Syndrome, he's always going to be a monster that needs to put down. And no matter whether he was gonna blow up or not, there was no real way that he could have been saved.
Well, that's kind of what I wondered, like if they prolonged it and it got to the date where he was supposed to blow up and then didn't blow up, if they would still keep chasing him.
They would, because think about it, if you have a ticking time bomb, just because it doesn't blow up at the minute that it's supposed to explode doesn't mean it's never gonna blow up. So
Yeah.
you have to get rid of it.
For me, that's the hardest anime death, is Kuro-sensei.
It's definitely up there for me. I wouldn't say it's the hardest one for me
Really?
to watch.
That's not the hardest?
It's the only one that I've cried at.
Oh, okay.
But in terms of like the hardest to watch, man, Attack on Titan's got some doozies.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. And that's another one of those shows where death is just so final.
Yeah.
Somebody dies, there's no going back. There's no rewinding time. There's no making a wish and they come back. They are gone, like for good. And you really feel the weight of every single character.
Yeah.
I say this with all sincerity. It's a privilege to be assassinated by you.
Assassination Classroom trivia. Why did Karma get sent to class 1E?
It was because he beat up a student that was one of the top performing students.
I guess I'll give you this one. Okay, what would you give this dish?
I would give this dish like a solid maybe 7 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna go 7.5 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. Join us next week to finish up this anime series. We've got more food, more anime questions, and more trivia coming your way. So like and subscribe so that you don't miss it. Bye!